Hi everyone, my name is Glindsey. I'm from the day program. I'm here to talk about something that I find extremely satisfying and interesting. I'm here to talk today about some of the indoor plants that I have right here that we have at the day program at Shepherd. Let me tell you a little history about myself. So how I got fascinated about this and how I picked up an interest for plants and planting is basically when I was a little girl, my grandfather introduced me to indoor plants and planting and repotting and how you hybrid certain flowers and plants. And that got me really excited. So we spent a lot of time, my granddad and I, we spent quite a lot of time together bonding over plants, and that's how my interest for plants started. And then initially from there it grew. When I went into school, I studied in a convent, so basically there were a lot of nuns and they had beautiful gardens, so they introduced me into their gardens. They taught me how to take care of plants, how plants have feelings, and we talk to them, we can water them, and they have life, right, plants? So that's how I got introduced to it in school, and then my interest kept growing from there. And then when I went into college and uni, I took a course in horticulture, and that's how my interest for planting grew from there. And I'm just here to share with you a few little tips and tricks where you can pick up on how indoor planting can happen and how you can keep them blooming all through the summer and through the spring and into the winter as well. So let's get started on the few plants that we have indoor here. I would like to share the first plant that we're going to talk about is the Anthurium. We have three kinds of Anthuriums here. I have for you the white one. There's a pretty pink one that we have right here. And we have these tiny white Anthuriums. A little history on these plants is that it's the botanical name, it's called Anthurium, but so anthus is a Greek word and it means flower, and aura meaning tail. So these plants are also called the tail flower or the flamingo flower. It's only because of the way it looks and the pretty beautiful colors that come with it. So we have like I said, the pink one here. They also have a coral anthurium. They have an anthurium only with leaves, and you can identify an anthurium with the pretty little heart-shaped leaves, if you can see here. They have beautiful heart-shaped leaves. There's also like I said, the coral ones, and then the red anthuriums are really rare to find and much more difficult to grow compared to the colors that we have here at the day program. So talking a little about the soil and how the potting process goes on with this plant especially, is that if you put your finger into the soil and you take it out, it shouldn't be that wet. It doesn't have to be really moist. It can be dry soil up to 1 inch, and if the soil is wet, then you pour a little water once in every 5 days. You do not have to overwater the plant. Anything of too much is bad, so do not overwater your plants. A little interesting fact about this plant is that if you can see right up here, I'm just going to pull this a little forward. This is a white anthurium, and then in the same pot there is a green one. So why this happens is either because it's either the blooming process has not been finished, or it's a new bloom that's coming up that hasn't gotten its color yet. So that's the reason why it's a little green when compared to the white anthurium. This plant requires very, very little care. So it would be pretty easy for you to grow this at home. Here's another interesting fact about it. So this plant is actually poisonous. Don't get me wrong, it's not that easy or difficult for it to be grown, but it is advisable to be kept away from children or from pets. It's only poisonous if you consume the plant. Like if you digest the plant. The sap of this plant has a tendency to get your skin irritated, so it's better kept at an elevated level. So that's about the anthuriums here. I hope that was informative. Moving on to this plant. Let's see, I have a smaller version of it. This is called the spider plant. Look at how beautiful this is. So this is the little stem that comes out from it, and then you have pretty white tiny flowers that bloom from here. This plant is the most greatest plant that you can have as an indoor plant, I would say, because it's easy to grow. It survives in very tough conditions, so you don't need a lot of sunlight, you don't need a lot of water. So that's why this makes this plant the most, I would say, the best indoor plant you can possibly have. It's low maintenance, something that we'd all like in our homes. So the soil does not have to be too wet, like I said, and for the same thing goes with the anthuriums. Do not overwater it. Once in 2 days, if you water it, is more than enough. So that's what we have with that plant. And this is the same spider plant that we have right here. Let me show you the pretty little white flowers that I was talking about, that they bloom during the summer and the springtime here. And it's a very easy plant to grow with low maintenance. All right, moving on. This plant comes under the pothos family. It is also called the money plant. So here's an interesting fact. Why it's called a money plant is because it's an olden day myth that said if you have this plant at home, it would bring you some monetary luck. And that's why people have this plant that grows at home. It's also a climber, but if you see here, we have it potted in soil. It can be grown in water as well. The process of planting this in water is that you just have to cut a stem and put it in a glass vase, and it will grow from there. It's much slower growing in water when compared to potting it in the soil. As far as the soil is concerned, this plant requires not too much of water, but it would be, so when you water the plant, it should have holes in the pot so it can let the excess water drain out. It can be watered once in every 3 days is more than enough, 3 to 5 days, and this plant should be good. And if you like it like a creeper, you could always put a little stem in between and let it creep over it. It's a very pretty plant as well. It has beautiful leaves, and the veins sometimes have white in them. I find that really interesting. Okay, those are all the plants that we have here at the day program. I hope this information was informative and you really enjoyed it as much as I did. So hope to see you soon. Until next time, bye.